Institutes as a guest speaker to deliver a lecture on gender sensitization. He is also the co-organizer of Ahmedabad Pride 2019. Professionally, he works as an executive at IIT Gandhinagar, from where he did his master's in 2019. So again, I welcome you, sir, for your plenary session. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, sir, you can start your session.
Thank you so much. Let me share my screen.
Sure.
Is it visible?
Um, no, sir, your screen is... Yes, sir, now you're visible. You can enlarge your screen to the full. Yes, sir, you can start your session.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Well, hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in different time zones. And I hope you people are doing good and staying safe. And first of all, thank you so much for that lovely introduction. As mentioned, my name is Rahul. And first and foremost, let me take this opportunity to thank all the organizers for putting this all the effort and organizing such a much needed conference and giving me this wonderful opportunity to put forward my opinion. So as you can see, my topic is India post section 377. So I'll be talking about the situation, the current situation after 2 years of decriminalization of homosexuality in India, and what changes have occurred, what the queer community is going through, and how they are working towards inclusion, and what we as social workers and activists are doing towards sensitization and to achieve these goals. Also, I was also asked to brief you about the work we have been doing. So we'll be talking about that as well. Now, moving on, if I can, if you can see from the slide, like it gives a particularly timeline from the moment where Section 377 was introduced by Britishers in the year 1861 till the moment we actually got independence in literal sense from this ridiculous 150 years ridiculous law. Um, so if I have to tell a brief about what this law says, so it says, whoever voluntarily has carnal intercourse against the order of nature with man, woman, or animal shall be punished with imprisonment for life, or there will be consequences as far as this fine is concerned, or it can be combination of imprisonment as well as fine. Now, particularly, if we go into the details, this law doesn't only discriminate or targets the LGBTQ community, but it targets the entire population, because it says whoever has sexual intercourse which does not lead to procreation, and that act is criminalized. So as per this statement, actually the entire population is criminal. So even if there is some oral sex, or sex which is not leading to procreation, or so similar things, these things, they come under the category of being criminal. So this was the very basic defect in the law. And also, so this was not only targeting LGBTQ, it was targeting the entire population. But because LGBTQ people are sexual minorities, they were oppressed, they are harassed, and finally they are given the tag of being criminal. People use this law against the queer people to harass them, to bully them, and to take advantage of them, both financially and sexually. People used to blackmail the queer people out of their identity, that if they do not offer something, then they might out them before their parents or before their families, and likewise. Now, having said that, finally on September 6th, 2018, we got rid of this law. There have been changes in past 2 years since we got independence, and some of the changes I have mentioned in the slides. And it's very, very interesting to see that the following changes, like more and more prides are happening in different cities. And in fact, this is more even fascinating to see that even smaller cities are having their own pride, which point towards the fact that now more and more people are comfortable and they are coming out of the closet. They are telling their families about themselves. They want to be free and they don't want to live the dual life or whatever call. Then many corporates and companies are coming up with their diversity and inclusion policies so as to make sure that nobody in their company, regardless of what gender he or she or they have, or based on their sexual orientation or race, they shouldn't be, everybody should be given justice and they shouldn't be discriminated on any basis. Then increasing conversation on LGBTQIA+ like never before, and this is really fascinating. The conversation is not only about the situation of LGBTQ plus community in the heteronormative society, but also what challenges we have within the LGBT community. Like we also have racism within the community. We have transphobia, homophobia, body shaming, everything. So the conversations are beyond LGBTQ in heteronormative society and leading to challenges which are faced by the LGBT community within the community. Another interesting aspect is same-sex couples are filing PIL for marriage equality. And as you can see in this slide, like there are some news articles which were there. And recently, I think 3 or 4 days ago, there was this hearing, High Court, Delhi High Court. Now many same-sex couples are actually filing PIL, public interest litigation, to have marriage equality in India. Although it hasn't been granted, but then people are coming up. So which is a good aspect. Another interesting thing which I find is very, very important to discuss over here is improved LGBTQ plus community portrayal in Hindi cinema. And I say this very important because Hindi cinema, or what we call Bollywood, is a huge industry and it has a huge impact on its audiences. If you see any Bollywood movie, say 5 years ago, there wasn't much portrayal of the queer community in those movies. And if there was any, then it was just a stereotypical portrayal. For example, if the person is gay, then he has to be effeminate and he's gonna hit on each and every guy. And stereotypically, the person will be indulged in film, fashion industry and whatnot. And this is how the society perceived. The society had no idea what homosexuality is. They only perceived what was shown to them. Now, luckily, we have some, in the past 3 or 4 years, we have some movies, we have some web series which are coming up to normalize this very concept of homosexuality. If I can quote like Shubh Mangal Zyada Savdhan, or there was this series Made in Heaven, they completely normalized it. They did neither they exaggerated it, nor they showed it in a way that we want special rights. No. And this is something we must ponder upon, like how to normalize this very concept of gender fluidity, of people belonging to alternate sexualities. Moving on. So all these slides which I have shown, they give a very true and positive picture of what we see in the past 2 years, especially after decriminalization of homosexuality. But that is only one part of the story. The other part of the story is really, really sad and serious. So if you can see from the slide, there are some news cuttings, and one of the common term over here is suicide. Suicide because somebody was bullied, because he or she was gay. Somebody committed suicide because their parents wanted them to undergo this conversion therapy and whatnot. So certainly, although it's been 2 years since we got independence from Section 377, but the perspective of the society hasn't really changed much. Parents still abandon their children when they come out to them. In fact, very recent incident, a week ago, my friend, she was kicked out of her house by her father because she identifies herself as a trans man. So the situation is really very severe, and many gay children are forced by their parents into heterosexual marriages, they into conversion therapies. So which is actually ultimately leading to suicides in many cases. And these are just the cases which are reported. The number of cases which are which undergo unreported exceeds far beyond this. And this is a very common case in rural India. That is actually one of the biggest challenges that we have to work on, how to reach out to people who are in rural India, who don't even know this concept of homosexuality, or they are not even aware that alternate sexualities exist. So certainly all these incidences point towards the fact that taking down the law only is not going to help us in long run. Sensitization of the people towards LGBTQ plus community, towards the challenges they face, towards the issues they have, towards their life, and the sensitization of the LGBTQ community itself about their rights, about their responsibilities, has to go hand in hand with the legal aspect. And this is what we have been trying to do in our city, in our region. So as I mentioned about sensitization, so speaking of sensitization, like even still now, if we Google gender disparity, most of the results actually they show inequalities between men and women. They don't even consider that other gender, or what we call in India third gender or transgender, exists. So if they are not acknowledging that there exists third gender and they are also treated unequally, or they are not given equal treatment, we won't be able to help with that. So this is something, this shows that sensitization is required at every level, be it individual, societal, legislation, or government. Now, moving on. So this is what we have been doing in our region. So from sensitization to organizing pride events, counseling, global work, and some legal aspects. So I'll be throwing light in a quick sense on each of these. So as far as sensitization is concerned, I strongly believe that this is one of the primary keys by which we can bring a positive change in the society, in the mentality of the people. And when I say sensitization, it doesn't have to be only giving or conducting gender sensitization workshops or giving lectures. We can use different tools to sensitize people, to convey our message. For example, I have been associated with performing arts, so I have organized 3 plays. One of the plays was on transgender, the other one was on menstruation. Then another event I organized, which was actually a musical performance where we showed a love story between 2 girls. And I believe this is how we can approach or reach out to larger audiences. So this is what we have been doing as far as the sensitization part is concerned. We have been approaching the schools also to give them sensitization workshops and organize some fun activities so that we are able to convey our message in a very healthy and friendly and healthy and friendly way. Next is pride events. Well, this is something which I personally like to do, and I have seen a really great positive response from the society perspective. Last year in 2019, I have been associated with Ahmedabad Pride. I was the co-organizer, and then this year I founded Gandhinagar Pride, and finally we had our first Pride in the capital city of Gujarat. For me, Pride is not just a way to celebrate or to go out on the streets and dance. Certainly, celebration is one objective, but the other objectives are far more important. As it's mentioned that the first Pride was a protest, and it still is, and it is going to be for a very long time. Protest for our rights, for a very basic fundamental human rights, which for the most of the time LGBTQ plus community have been denied. Protest to protest against the atrocities that the government have been doing with us. For example, very recently, the government passed this Trans Act 2019, which was really ridiculous and was not at all in favor of the trans community. I also see pride parades as an opportunity to come together, and stand in solidarity with each other, and also as an opportunity to pay tribute and say thanks to all those people who fought for us so that we can actually live in a truly free India. Besides that, there have been some events which were actually organized for the very first time by our organization, which is gender neutral prom night, then fashion show with the theme of gender fluidity, street plays were there, flash mobs were there. And these events actually witness a huge number of audiences. Next part, which we have been doing is counseling. So it depends on the situation and person to person. Personal counseling, we do, I personally talk to people. So basically, I am handling a social media page, Gandhinagar Queer Pride, and we receive a lot of messages that somebody is not comfortable with their sexuality or are confused, or if their parents are not supportive enough. So depending on the situation, if I find talking to the person will make him better, feel better, I do that. If I find that it's related to something about their families, then I connect them with the organizations in their region. There is this one organization, Swika, the Rainbow Parents, which is doing really commendable job, especially in sensitizing the parents of the LGBTQ community people. And third is rescuing. As I already mentioned earlier, that one of my friends, she was abandoned by her family. So we rescued her. We arranged an accommodation for her, and this is what we do in rest of the cases. And if we are not able to reach out to the person, we reach out to the organizations which is there in their region. Next is, so these all are the work which I have been doing, which we as a Gandhinagar Queer Pride have been doing in India. On global level, so I personally am associated with an international organization, Enterpride, which is a pride network of more than 350 pride organizations all over the world. My part, so the Enterpride actually has divided the entire world into different regions, 20 regions, and region 19 has 28 Asian countries, including India. And I am the regional director for region 19. My job is to manage pride-related affairs, to take care of pride-related affairs of all those countries, and as well as the advocacy. I'll give you a very short example of recent case of advocacy. Recently, if you know, Shanghai Pride was called off. Shanghai Pride organization was told that they won't be able to organize Pride by the government. What we are doing as an external organization, we are trying to reach out to the human resource, United Nations. We are trying to reach out to the embassies so that they can put some pressure, external pressure, so that they can at least remove this ban from organizing pride parades. Then, because of this COVID-19, a number of pride events were cancelled and postponed. In fact, more than 500 pride events were cancelled and postponed worldwide. In response to that, we decided to organize Global Pride, which is the biggest online pride network in the world. So I was the production lead and curator for 2 time zones, UTC 5 and UTC 6, which collectively had 11 countries, including India, Nepal, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Iran, Afghanistan, and others. So my role was to take care of all the production and curation within these countries, 11 countries. And this was definitely a very ambitious and gigantic project with 27 hours live stream. And it turned out to be a success with more than 53 million viewers across 160 countries all over the world. And third is, I am also serving as the co-chair of hiring committee to hire or recruit the candidates for different job roles in the organization, and also working closely with other committees like governance and strategic planning committee. Now, as far as legal part is concerned, so as of now, I'm not associated with the legal aspect, but yes, in 2017, so I am from IIT Gandhinagar, and IIT's Indian Institute of Technologies are, I would say, the premier institutes in India. We have a closed group of all the LGBT IITians called Pravriti, which translates into English as nature or behavior. We collectively decided that we are going to file a PIL against Section 377 in the Supreme Court. And in 2017, 20 of us, including me, we filed a PIL in the Supreme Court, which was heard collectively with other 5 PIL for the same reason. And finally, on 6th September, we got the biggest judgment. Now, having said that, what are the challenges which we face towards inclusion? First and foremost, ignorance and denial by the ruling government. I'll give you just two examples, but there are more actually. Yogi Adityanath, he is the CM of Uttar Pradesh, and he says that homosexuality is dangerous to social morality, whereas Subramanian Swamy, he says he considers it homosexuality as a genetic disorder. Again, we have another person, Baba Ramdev, who is a yoga guru, and he claims that homosexuality is a mental disorder and can be cured with guarantee, although he hasn't done anything in that front. So my point is, when we have leaders like them who are actually influencing lives of millions of people, it really becomes difficult to spread our message when people are already following them, already getting influenced by such leaders. Another thing, another challenge is lack of awareness in the society, which we all of us are via maybe by different means, like this conference or any other means we are doing to sensitize people to spread awareness in the society. Internalized homophobia, transphobia, phobia, body shaming, this is something which is really, really even worse than the previous one, because until and unless we as a community are united, we won't be able to achieve our goal, the goal of being inclusive, the goal of being given all those basic human rights that all other person who are not belonging to the LGBT community have. And finally, racism in operation. Racism is something which is there all over the world in different phases. For example, if I can say in United States, this racism can take the face of because of the color or because of the ethnicity. In India, there is one more tag, because of the caste. So when we have such challenges, it becomes really difficult to spread our message, to bring a positive change in the society. But then this is what all of us are working on. And I think our job will be done when we no longer have to have such discussions, which means that the society will be so open-minded, will be so accepting that we no longer need such kind of discussions. And I look forward to that future. So I think with this, I'll stop myself, and I'm open to all the questions. Please ask your questions, and I'll be very happy to answer all your queries. Thank you so much.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Rahul.
Yes.
Hi. First of all, it is a very wonderful presentation, and it has given us the insight that how organizations and people like you are struggling in the society for the upliftment of LGBT community. So congratulations on the work that you are doing, and all the best from my and my friend's side, and so that you can do better and uplift the society. So my question, not a question to you, but I have been wondering on this aspect because I am doing some research on it also about representation of LGBT community in Bollywood films.
Right.
So whenever we talk about cinema or film media, we always see that the LGBT community, gays, lesbians also, rather transgenders including, they have been shown in a very mockful way,
Right.
especially in the movies of Karan Johar, whereas he himself represents the LGBT community and he should be little more sensible,
Absolutely.
I think, about it.
Right.
Secondly, the representation of man turning into women in Kapil Sharma shows.
Right.
So I believe that these areas impact a lot on general idea of the common masses. So do you think that your organization should also take stand and approach such kind of media people to represent the community in a sensible way so that their acceptability becomes easy for common masses?
Absolutely. And I'm glad that you put up this question, because not just our organization, but each and every organization should take a stand. In fact, I would like to mention over here is we have a friend, Sridhar Rangayan. He himself is a director, film director, and I think in one of the slides I put up his movie poster also, Evening Shadows.
Okay.
And he identify himself as gay person, and he not this is not his first movie, but he has made many other movies. But this particular movie is on the journey of a mother from being homophobic to totally accepting her child, and this is something we must portray because
But
these are
that
the
is
real.
the mainstream, but the
Yeah.
mainstream Bollywood, the commercial films,
Yes.
like Karan Johar starers, and
Mhm.
you see the बड़े-बड़े banners जो है हमारे,
Right.
like
Right.
you see he always even in Ekta Kapoor film Grand Masti and Masti film, um, मुझे अभी भी याद है देयर वाज डायलॉग जो बड़े कॉमनली रेफर करते हैं, ये हवा का झोंका. देयर वाज अ फेमिनाइन गाय हु वाज स्टैंडिंग इन द क्रिकेट फील्ड इन Salman Khan and Kajol's film, and Baz Khan was the elder brother of Kajol.
Mhm.
Uh, प्यार किया तो डरना क्या शायद. So
Okay.
he was standing in a very feminine way and moving like this in a feminine way.
Yeah.
So Salman Khan shouts on him कि तुम हिल क्यों रहे हो, तो वो he says हवा का झोंका मुझे हिला देता है डुला देता है. So this
Right.
was a very mock representation of
It is, and in
I
fact,
think
it
yes,
is very,
and
very
people like
unfortunate
you
to
should
say.
go and talk to them that stop it now. Start giving them a proper respect they deserve in the Bollywood cinemas, so that
Right.
people be receptive, positively receptive towards it. This is what I want.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, when this movie came, like we have shown all these movies which are Bollywood based, which actually normalize this concept rather than showing all those bullshit. And when
Huh.
this movie came, this one, Shubh Mangal Zyada Savdhan, in fact, we ourselves promoted the movie because we found it comparatively normalizing. Right.
Yes.
So for one, yes, we are promoting the movies which are portraying the true picture. Second thing, we are not indulged directly, but yes, indirectly we are sort of not allowing the movies to at least featured in our territory. For example, if I can tell you, in our campus there was some film club which was trying to Dostana, which was trying to film, screen Dostana. We did it like we didn't allow them to feature that film because all it's showing is that mockery scene,
Hmm.
that the person is effeminate and flimsy hand and whatnot. So on our end, we are doing this thing, and I think I actually also agree with you that we as collectively, all the organizations should also take a stand.
Yes, you have to take a
Yes,
stand.
yes.
Thank you so much for interacting with me, Rahul. I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
Now the forum is open for question answers.
I've
If
already
anyone has any,
in the
Rahul,
chat
there
box.
are two questions for you in the chat box, I guess.
Yes. What role of curriculum, textbook, and gender role socialization do you see in a more liberal, open, accepting society towards gender fluidity?
Ah,
Um, okay, so there is this video, if you see on YouTube, just 50 or 60 seconds video. So there is this tradition of gender reveal party in the Western countries, where they reveal the gender of the baby who is going to born. Now, in one of the videos, so in common gender reveal party, they have either pink or uh, blue color. Now, in one of the videos, there was neither pink nor blue, there were rainbow colors. And the parents were so devastated, so furious on their friends, whereas they already had a child who was like 3 or 4 years young, and the child was, he didn't have to take care of anything. He just wanted to get those balloons, those rainbow color balloons. So my point is, the school curriculum should have uh, uh, these things in their textbooks, in their, maybe as a part of fun activity, because when children are at that tender age, it's very easy to inculcate or instill such values in them, and that's where the schools, primary schools particularly, come to the rescue. So I totally agree with the fact that school curriculum should indulge all these things. In fact, I would like to mention over here that I also mentioned that we are approaching schools for organizing such workshop, but we haven't been successful. A majority of the school administration say कि parents क्या कहेंगे, what will parents say, right? So along with the schools, parents also have to be sensitized about these things. So this has to again go hand in hand.
Okay.
Some other question?
Any other question from participant side? So I guess this session is over here because I couldn't see any question. So thank you, Mr. Rahul, for this plenary session.
Thank you so much.
It was really nice having you for the session.